Goblinu again with another build video today. We are just going to get into it as usual. This is for a Mag Nightblade Bomber. Give you some rough stats here real quick. Just some simple buffs here. Alrighty. So, as you can see, here's our roughish stats. Kind of go higher than this in some scenarios, but you kind of get the idea. I am a Khajit. We are running 18k into Magic, 46 into Stam. This really doesn't matter. You could probably put it all into Magic or put more into Health. Probably all into Magic would probably be better. But just the way with I play, I go from Sneak to Cloak quite often, so it's nice to be able to have a high Stam pool for me personally, to be able to just sneak and not have to burn through my Magic as fast. Overall, we can hit upwards of 6k to 7k spell damage, and we got a pretty nice penetration. For the Mundus, we're running the Shadow. I am a Vampire. You want to be at least stage 2. We'll get to that later. And we are running Ice Cream for our food. That's pretty much it. Go ahead and get into the skills. Fuck. Sets. Fuck. First set. We have Balorghs Mask. Pretty much bread and butter for bombing. We're running a medium in-pen helmet and a light divine shoulder. Optimally, just make it all divines. That's gonna give you the most out of your Mundus. And like I said, we're running the Shadow. It doesn't have to be Shadow. It could be the Lover. I think with Nightblade crit, kind of what we're going for, make our Soul Tether hit super hard as soon as we exit Cloak. So, best thing would be to run Divines to get max amount of crit. For our next set, obviously Vicious Death. I'm running 2. Well, actually, this one's supposed to be sharpened right here, but it's not as precise. You could go precise if you want to, or sharpened. This one's actually supposed to be sharpened. Both of them give us more penetration overall. But anyways, 2 axes, try and maximize the amount of crit damage that we do. And then we are running 3 jewelry, all infused, all with a weapon and spell damage enchant. For our next set, all on the body, we are running Plaguebreak, Divines on every piece, I believe. Yes, all Plaguebreak Divines with all max magic glyphs too on all the armor. This is basically going to be like your VD times 2. It's basically going to do the same thing as Vicious Death. As soon as we get 1, they're all going to blow up and die. So if VD doesn't get it done, Plaguebreak's going to get it done for us as well. This is more of a classic bomb build instead of your Dark Convergence pole type bomb build, and I prefer the classic style. It's what I'm familiar with. It's what I find the most fun. So this is how I have it set up. Our back bar is Maelstrom's Perfected Rester Staff. It doesn't have to be this. I have sometimes experimented, and usually I actually like to put the Inferno here on the back bar and get some ganks. I think actually now you'd probably want to run Lightning Staff, but you could do a heavy attack and lead this into a concealed weapon, bomb time, and soul harvest, kind of like a gank, so to speak. Sometimes I do that, but I saw someone run this weapon with the rapid regen, and what I like about this is that you can do heavy attacks, get resources back more efficiently. We already have a low stat pool and our recovery is not the best, so this is a good option. Or you could go with like an Inferno Staff or a Lightning Staff and, you know, get some ganks. All in all, the backboard really doesn't matter. with this setup, everything that we're pretty much doing is on the front bar. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and get into the skills. On our front bar, we're running Simmering Frenzy. Basically, before we go into a bomb, we're going to activate this skill, and it's going to increase our weapon and spell damage up to 5 times for 77 each. It's just going to buff our damage. Same thing with Merciless Resolve. I don't always have this stacked, but you kind of want to try to have these things stacked at all times when you go in for a bomb, because we're going to gain so much more weapon and spell damage having these 2 skills here. And it's just going to be free, essentially. It's going to make our bomb hit a lot harder. I'm still kind of working out the timing on it. I've started to get really good at using this, but I kind of could work on using both at the same time a little better. Next skill, Power Extraction. Sometimes I use this, sometimes I don't. It just kind of depends on how low health the enemies are. You know, if I see that most of the people I'm bombing are basically already dead, I'm just going to hit them with a Whirling Blades. But if not, and they're kind of teeter-tottering, I'll hit this to gain the Minor Courage. Since we are using Spell Power Pots, we really aren't using this for the Major Brutality and Sorcery. We're really using this for the Minor Courage. That gives us 215 extra weapon and spell damage. And it also reduces the enemy's weapon and spell damage by 215, which really isn't important to this, but it's a good skill overall. Fourth skill, like I said, Whirling Blades. If most of the enemies are already close to dying, or they're like 25%, I'm just going to hit them with this because it'll probably take them out anyways. This is going to be your execute, and it's going to be what we hit after we do our bomb, of course. Next skill is Camo Hunter. Pretty self-explanatory. It's going to give us the Major Savagery and Prophecy, increasing our crit rating. It's also going to give us Minor Berserk anytime we deal damage from the enemy's flank for 5 seconds. Most of the time, the way I like to bomb doors or resources, you know, where people are not suspecting that they're going to be bombed. For me, is the best. It's just easier that way. You can try and get some of these crazy open field bombs. It is a lot harder. Sometimes I go for them, sometimes I don't. For the ulti is obviously Soul Tether. It's going to be your main bomb. So, you know, you're going to cloak, go into it, blow everyone up. Back bar, we're running Concealed Weapon. This is going to help us move faster while we're in cloak. Get to the enemies that we're trying to bomb faster. You know, if they're all the way over there, you know, as you can see, the difference is pretty slow. Compared to if I have Concealed Weapon on, I move much faster. So, Concealed Weapon's pretty much just there to help us get to point A to point B a lot faster. But yeah. Next skill, Radiating Regeneration. You could use Rapid Regen if you want. This is just kind of our heal if we ever need it. A lot of times if I'm just trying to build ulti, you know, I'll cloak. Let's say there's a Zerg. I'll kind of just hit him with the light attack. They start hitting me. Heal, cloak. Just try to build up ulti. Really don't try to do a whole lot of fighting outside of bombing on this build. Unless you, like, want to gank and slot an Inferno or something. Next skill, pretty obvious. Proxy Det. I think everyone knows that this is pretty much our second most important skill on this build. Just going to deal a lot of AoE damage combined with our Soul Tether, Execute, or Power Extraction. Channel Acceleration, also pretty bread and butter on an old setup. This is going to give us the Minor Force, which is going to increase our crit by 10%, and it's going to give us a speed buff 30% for 10 seconds. So this is really important to have. You know, a lot of times when I set up for bombs, I'll kind of set up far away so I don't get spotted, and then I'll, you know, run in. And the difference that the speed buff makes is obviously huge to help you get from point A to point B. And then Shadowy Disguise on the back bar. I actually did not know that that also gave you Prophecy and Savagery. That's actually crazy. Regardless, we're still going to run this here anyways because it gives us extra damage, but yeah. Cloak, it's just your invis. And your next strike is always going to be crit. So, back bar ulti, Soul Harvest. This is really just kind of here for that gank ability. I really don't run it for any reason other than, hey, maybe I see someone who's kind of low and I'm building ulti, you know, or I just want to get a quick, easy kill. You know, I might use it, but overall, really it's just to get the ultimate on the back bar. A lot of times, if I'm not gaining ult by heavy attacking other players, I will go to the most desolate place on the map and find some wolves or bandits or something to attack and fight for a little bit, and I'll get 10 ultimate every time I kill them. So really, in between bombs, I just try to build ult as fast as possible so that I can get to the next keep or resource or whatever to get there for my next bomb. I had mentioned earlier why you want to be stage 2 vampire is because of the passive here. Whenever you leave sneak, basically we're going to gain an additional 300 weapon and spell damage for 6 seconds. So combined with this, cloak, these two skills here, power extraction, and Balorghs, I mean, we're easily hitting 6.5 plus damage, you know. So overall, this is just meant to be a heavy hitter type bomb build. We're not pulling anybody in with this. Like I said, it's just a classic bomb. Nothing really crazy. There's probably some other sets you could throw on instead of Plaguebreak. However, I tried my old setup of Vicious Death and I want to say it was Clever Alchemist or something like that. I really don't recall. You know, I tried it a few times. It just really didn't work. I always found that there was just a slight bit more of burst that I needed. And I had came across someone who had said run Plaguebreak and VD, and it's a pretty good setup overall. So I'm glad that, you know, we can continue the classic bombs and not have to rely on Dark Convergence. As you can see, I have it here, but this is for a different build that my friend had sent me. And, you know, I'm not really a fan of Dark Convergence anyways, so this overall is probably my favorite bomb setup. Let's go ahead and just get into the CP. As usual, I don't really care about the green tree, just do whatever you want. Master at Arms, 6% damage done with direct damage attacks. Biting Aura, 6% damage done with area effects. We're running Occult Overload. This is going to kind of also help our Plaguebreak and VD do that extra bit more burst. Whenever we kill one enemy, it's just going to do a huge chunk of Oblivion damage straight to their max health. Basically just a little bit more burst when we do get that one guy down and killed. Fighting Finesse, crit damage by 8% and healing. Really not worried about the healing aspect, but mostly the damage. You don't need to run this. Sometimes I do run Backstabber instead because a lot of times I do like to bomb doors, and we can gain 10% out of this. So sometimes I swap between these two. Recently I was running this one, and either one works. But if you have a lot of people who you know you're going to be bombing, let's say they're repping a door, this is perfect for when you're going to do door bombs because they're all going to be having their backs facing towards you. This is kind of more so if you want to do like in my opinion, like an open field bomb, or maybe you can't really get behind the enemy if they're moving around a lot. This would probably be better, but I swap between the two, so really it's up to you however you want to run it. But I would probably run this exact setup. I really wouldn't change it. Red tree, kind of really not that important here either, considering that we are just really a glass cannon, so to speak. We're not really running a whole lot of defensive stuff here. Bloody Renewal, just to gain stamina whenever we kill an enemy. It's going to help you maybe dodge roll and continue your spam of your whirling blades if you need to. You know, you might get that one guy who doesn't quite kill everybody, but maybe bring some of the tankier guys down. This is nice because our stam pool and our stam recovery is not super high. And Whirling Blades and some of the other skills that we're running, they cost a lot of stam, like Power Extraction. So you tend to burn through it quite a bit. This makes sure that you can keep spamming as long as you get a kill. Bastion, increase the effectiveness of your damage against shield enemies is why we are running this. If anyone there is like, let's say there's a Sork or anyone running barrier or something like that, it's just going to make sure that you deal a little bit more damage to them. Survival Instincts, just cost reduction whenever you're hit by a status effect. And Celerity. This just goes back to wanting to get to our targets as fast as possible after setting up. Being fast on a bomber is pretty important overall. Like I said, I'd like to set up far away. There was another one that I was thinking about running. Oh, yes. I was kind of looking at this because when I post my gameplay, I'll post just a few clips of the bombs that I have. I don't record super often, so limited on what I do have. I'm trying to get better at recording more often, but I do have some clips at the end of the video. This would be super nice because in some of my clips you'll see where one guy happens to hit a revealing flare on the door and boom, now we have to break free. And this would be super nice to be able to just break free, you know, instantly, not have to worry about it and continue on with your bomb. This will make sure that, you know, you get up as soon as possible. So I would probably take Bastion off maybe, or Survival Instincts. Swap for this. I haven't tried it yet, but I'll probably try it here in the next few days. I hope to get some more bomb clips, maybe post another bomb build. But overall, that's pretty much it for the video. If you guys have any questions, you know, just go ahead and leave them down in the comments. And yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys later. Got some. Didn't get a fat one, but got like 5. I got him. No! Damn, I got a few of them. Someone streaked.